So starting off the journey, I was from CBSE background. I completed my high school from CBSE, 11th, 12th. And when the application started out, I'm not gonna lie, okay, I was extremely nervous because I didn't know the entire dynamics of it, because the entire westernized education system works through the system of like profile building and your overall development that you have had throughout your high school years. But since it does not work like that over here, I had only focused on like a bit of academics, and that's probably it. Even in academics, I was not that amazing, but yeah. So we had to like work around a lot of things when we started out, but those were the cards that we were dealt with. Thankfully, Sir and the entire Anand Institute helped me a lot to realize and make me understand like what stuff can actually be put on, my profile development, and what all stuff qualifies for those experiences. Because frankly, we all have skills which are required to be valuable to other universities outside. It's just that we don't know how to exactly put those in words and to put focus on those skills necessarily. We think it's something completely out of the blue. It's not like that. So Anand taught me how to go over whatever experience I've had and how to extract valuable pieces of information out of it and present it to the universities. And that's pretty much how my application process looked like. From ICC to CBSE, curriculum-wise, it was not that difficult, because from ICC, the thing is that English and maths have been of a decently high level than CBSE, comparatively speaking. And yeah, so I think that benefited me when I went for SATs and the westernized education. The ICC factor came into help. CBSE, what helped me with that was that I was sort of prepared for the worst, because that's what ICC trains you for. Is that rough examinations, a lot of syllabus, which is probably about the grades that CBSE does not teach. So that is what ICC prepares you for. That's why CBSE initially it started out really fine, but that's where I made the mistake of, after I got comfortable over there, I was like, oh, you know what, this is easy, so I'm not going to worry too much about it. That's where I messed up again. But yeah, so that happened, and then CBSE sort of gave me a reality check later on during the boards, wherein I was like, okay, it's not that easy. And since we had two boards, I did come back stronger than before in the second attempt that we had, because lockdown and stuff. So yeah, that happened. And then the shift to westernized education, well, that was an amazing experience in itself, because you see, like I said, over here people just want you to just study for the exam point of view. That's what CBSE teaches you, is that you prepare and you study not for the career, not for anything else, but for basically passing that examination with good grades. And when they do that, what happens is that you do not have that much in-depth information that you will retain for the longer course of time. And that is something that hit me when I went into the Western education, is that when I went to US and everything, the amount of support that they have, just so that you will understand what you're doing and not just do it for the sake of passing that examination. Firstly that. Second, they help you and they support you to do a lot of stuff which will help you build your career, build your personality. And the change that I have gone throughout this past 1 year, it's just been 1 year, but all the changes are so drastic and they're all good.
Hi Kartik.
Hi.
It's been a while. How are you?
It's been a while. That's right. I'm fantastic. Absolutely amazing.
Awesome. Great. For our audience, please introduce yourself.
So my name is Karthik Vishwasrao, and I'm a sophomore at University at Buffalo.
Okay. Let them know where exactly you come from. Where you have completed your high school, what your profile was like, how was your entire application process. Walk them through how was your journey of applications?
Right. So starting off the journey, I was from CBSE background. I completed my high school from CBSE, 11th, 12th. And when the application started out, I'm not gonna lie, okay, I was extremely nervous because I didn't know the entire dynamics of it, because the entire westernized education system works through the system of like profile building and your overall development that you have had throughout your high school years. But since it does not work like that over here, I had only focused on like a bit of academics, and that's probably it. Even in academics, I was not that amazing, but yeah. So we had to like work around a lot of things when we started out, but those were the cards that we were dealt with. Thankfully, sir and the entire Anand Institute helped me a lot to realize and make me understand like what stuff can actually be put on, my profile development, and what all stuff qualifies for those experiences. Because frankly, we all have skills which are required to be valuable to universities outside. It's just that we don't know how to exactly put those in words and to put focus on those skills necessarily. We think it's something completely out of the blue. It's not like that. So Anand taught me how to go over whatever experience I've had, and how to extract valuable pieces of information out of it and present it to the universities. And that's pretty much how my application process looked like. And then came the essays, SATs, everything. SATs were pretty much easy coming from the CBSE background. I think SATs are not that difficult, but all that, the main part that you need to focus on in the SATs is how much you're focusing on in the exam room.
Absolutely. Yeah, practice.
Exactly. So I practiced a lot. I got good grades in the practice test, but I kind of messed up a bit in the actual exam. That's why my projected grades were a bit higher. I did not perform that well, but it was decent enough to get me admissions at different universities that we were targeting, and it all went great.
Awesome. So honestly speaking, we enjoyed the journey, because
Right.
that's the best phase, right?
Yeah.
In this entire process, we get to know you so well. We understand what all things you have been through, and that you had such a unique profile specifically emotionally, the way you have evolved, the way you have matured in the limited amount of time. On top of that, in spite of struggling quite a bit with respect to say academics, the way you portrayed yourself with respect to say computer science and their other majors and your line of interest, we thoroughly enjoyed that entire segment of working with you. And for obvious reasons, you deserved what you got.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Very happy for that. Awesome. Now, coming primarily, so I believe that you're till grade 10, you were in from ICSE. Right. And then you went to CBSE. So how was this transition from ICSE to CBSE to US education system?
I'll tell you that, but it's an amazing journey. That's for sure. So from ICSE to CBSE, curriculum wise, it was not that difficult, because so from ICSE, the thing is that English and maths have been of a decently high level than CBSE, comparatively speaking. And yeah, so I think that benefited me when I went for SATs and the westernized education. The ICSE factor came into help. CBSE, what helped me with that was that I was sort of prepared for the worst, because that's what ICSE trains you for. Is that rough examinations, a lot of syllabus, which is probably about the grades that CBSE does not teach. So that is what ICSE prepares you for. That's why CBSE initially it started out really fine, but that's where I made the mistake of, after I got comfortable over there, I was like, oh, you know what, this is easy, so I'm not going to worry too much about it. And that's where I messed up again. But yeah, so that happened, and then CBSE sort of gave me a reality check later on during the boards, wherein I was like, okay, it's not that easy. And since we had two boards, I did come back stronger than before in the second attempt that we had, because lockdown and stuff. So
right.
Yeah, that happened. And then the shift to westernized education, well, that was an amazing experience in itself, because you see, like I said, over here people just want you to, like, just study for the exam point of view. That's what CBSE teaches you, is that you prepare and you study not for the career, not for anything else, but for basically passing that examination with good grades. And when they do that, what happens is that you do not have that much in-depth information that you will retain for the longer course of time. And that is something that hit me when I went into the Western education, is that, when I went to US and everything, the amount of support that they have, just so that you will understand what you're doing and not just do it for the sake of passing that examination. Firstly, that. Second, they help you and they support you to do a lot of stuff which will help you build your career, build your personality. And the change that I've gone throughout this past 1 year, it's just been 1 year, but all the changes are so drastic, and they're all good. Okay, I'll be honest with you, they're amazing.
You could see that. Most of it. Yeah.
I hope so. I try to be above the 50% mark. So yeah, that happens, and that is largely contributing to the fact that the faculty over there supports you doing all the stuff which will help you grow as a person as well. And that's why you see examination overall over there does not become as stressful as it is over here. It's more of about just learning life, tackling that, the overall bigger aspect of it. And that's what I think is my favorite part out of the entire transition process. That's my favorite transition, from this to that, right?
Fundamentally, you evolved to understand how to solve problems. Problem solving skills have improved on a whole other level.
Yeah, definitely. Now see, the thing is, the way I see it, right? The problem solving skills, in our education system, they only come if you go to top-notch universities like IIT and all, because they stress the hell out of you. And that sort of pushes you into doing that problem solving thing. But outside, that's not the case. No matter where you go, you're gonna get that eventually. And it's guaranteed. As long as you put the efforts, it's gonna happen. Because when you show, even let's say you do not even know what efforts to put, right? But you want them. You're willing to put those efforts. So that the environment over there supports you to do that, and they teach you throughout it, and they teach you that way of doing that problem solving ability. It's not forced onto you. It's not like, oh, it's something which only the elite of the elite can do. It's something which you can do as well. So yeah, that's what I like about it.
Interesting. Kartik, I know for a fact, and please enlighten our audience, how exactly you grabbed the opportunities on campus. How did you get an on-campus job? I believe that you ended up having a presidency also, right?
Right.
Please.
So it's a funny story. You don't mind if I go through the entire aspect of it, right?
Please.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So the way it started out was that in my first semester, I was just focusing on my academics. I had maths, calculus, and everything. And since I had not done so well in my boards, I was focusing on, setting up that academic record and tackling calculus primarily. And that happened, but then during the end of the first semester, I wanted to do something more, because I knew that I'm not here just for that bookish thing, Like I said, the entire environment, it pushes you out of your comfort zone to do stuff which you have never done before. And that sort of led me to talking to a friend of mine, a very amazing friend of mine, and he was the president of my residence hall association, hall council at Wilkinson Quadrangle, where we live. It's one of our dormitories. And so he basically was like, you know what, I'm going to move out the next semester. There's going to be an opening on the president's spot. And I was like, you know what, I don't mind trying for that. So I didn't expect much out of it. I was like, you know what, probably I'm not going to get elected and stuff. But I was like, let's see, let's go ahead with it. I was very nervous on the night of the elections. I had to appear in front of a relatively smaller group. But still I was a bit nervous because it had been a moment since I had done all the public speaking and all. But you see, that's what they teach you, is they teach you through these small instances, how to tackle those problems. And that helped me tackle one big problem of mine, which was public speaking. it had been a minute since I had done that. So I did that. Thankfully, I won the elections.
Congratulations on that.
Thank you so much. So I became the Hall Council's president for the second semester, and I had just started out. Okay, cut to winter break, and then after winter break, we came back. You know, we started out our work, and that's when the same friend he goes on to say, you know what? There is something known as executive board of the RHA. So RHA stands for the Residence Hall Association, for those of you that do not know. And he goes like, there is an executive board over that. I was like, wait a minute, there's something about this? And like, yeah. So he's like, yeah. And so he gave me the entire brief about how it was going to work and everything. I was like, you know what, I don't mind trying for that. And I went for the Vice President of Leadership Development for the entire executive board of RHA. And that meant that I would be representing university at Buffalo at a national level, at a regional level, everywhere in the big spaces. So,
that's amazing.
Yeah.
That's quite a lot of public speaking, huh?
Yeah, it's a lot of public speaking. I'll give you that, because I distinctively remember that there was, like, I refer to it as Hell's Week, right? Because in that week, during the elections for that position, this was like way bigger than anything that I had done before, right? So we had to go everywhere on campus for 5 nights in a row, and each night it was like 5-hour long campaigning and elections and all of that rigorous stuff. So the way the days worked were that we used to sit in our classes and lectures, attend lectures for like 6 hours or so, you know, like, I mean, 3 hours of lectures, rest of the time study time. So 6 hours of that, and then once, you know, the evening is sort of in its later stages, then we had to rush to different points on campus, and we had to give speeches over there, and those were way bigger rooms than before. So a lot of audience, lot of students, lot of everything, and all important kids, right? Because the current executive board was going to be there for the elections. So I had to make an impression on those guys as well. And here's the surprise part of it. My dear friend who made me aware of these opportunities also happened to be running against me in this. So that was a bit of a shocker, because I was not made aware of that. But you know what? We had a fun experience, because to be honest, if he had not been there, I would not have pushed myself to the level that I did, because it was a healthy competition. It was not like something unfair, you know. I did not cry about it. He did not cry about it. And it was a fair competition. I loved it. I loved every bit of it, you know. Even though it was Health Week, 11 hours working a day, like, still it was amazing. And throughout that time, I was also working on my part-time job. Like, I was working through applications and interviews and everything like that during that week itself. So I had all of that.
While managing your academics.
Yep. So all of that was happening. And yeah, it was a very close fight. I was made aware of that by my new president, and she was like, you know, that was the closest fight for any of the positions. So VPLD, Vice President of Leadership Development, was the closest fight. Thankfully, I won. But yeah, no matter who won between us, it would have been the right choice, because he is exceptional at what he does as well. He deserves it as much as I do. And yeah, it was a fun experience overall. But yeah.
Please walk us through this thing. What exactly it means to be RHA's on the RHA's executive board? Right. What it means to be on president in terms of, do you end up getting some scholarship? Are there any waivers?
So, so we are not supposed to be doing this for the benefits, right?
Okay.
But
agreed.
But it so happens that, well, the president of the hall councils, that's a lower level position. It's a voluntary based position. So there is not really that much benefits for it, except for, like I said, the experience of it, the entire journey of it, the friends that you make throughout it. And that's something that I can, you know, you can never buy from anything else. You know, it's not, the experience cannot be bought. And I have the photos in my wallet, you know.
We'll share it across
right
on the...
Yeah. So I keep that photo along with me. The entire council that I have, we had printed out our photos and stuff. So that's the kind of bonds that we make. And it's amazing. It's an amazing experience. Coming to Vice President of Leadership Development on the executive board, that means that I also have to act as the National Communications Coordinator for the Residence Hall Association of University at Buffalo. And that means that I get to represent UB at all the regional and national spaces. I have to I get to act as a liaison between those spaces and my own team. So that means that I would be representing over there, bringing the information back home. Communication is the key. That's why National Communications Coordinator.
That's great.
And that's something that I do outside of the campus. And inside the campus, as the Vice President of Leadership Development, what I do is I organize events such as our G14 Leadership Summit that happens on campus. It's a leadership summit for student leaders from different organizations. We all come together, we share our experiences, and we also call in career design centers and multiple different organizations. We collaborate with them, we call in their help, and sort of like providing a platform for all the student leaders everywhere on campus to grow together and share their experience, because my experience will be different from some different organization's leader. And that's what we do at these events. That's just one of it. And then we have regional level spring leadership conference, regional level conference, and yeah, that's all.
And everything is paid for?
Yep. So when you go to the VP LD position on the executive board, you basically any position on the executive board is compensated for by like free housing. So I got that. It was a
so you benefit. Have free housing?
Yes, for the next year. For the next year, I do have free housing.
Entire sophomore?
Yeah.
So
very good. No payment. Like, I mean, technically, it's the way it works is that they pay the amount. They give you the discount for the cost of a double at that point in time. And for me, I took a quad because, well, I like hanging out with people, as you can tell. But yeah, so that's why I took a quad, and that's cheaper than the doubles rate. So technically it becomes free for me. That's how it works. But yeah.
Interesting. Does that also include meal plan?
No, unfortunately not. For meal plan benefits, we need to become RAs, which is residence advisors.
Alright. Okay. And please walk us through your on-campus job.
So my on-campus job, well, let's see. It was I definitely think that Michael McNamara, who was the VPLD before me, he was also in a way my mentor when it came to RHA stuff, and he helped me out a lot. And he also wrote a recommendation letter for me for the job that I got, and that made an impression on my current boss when she saw that. Because we had to bring a student leader's reference letter, and I brought the head student leader's recommendation letter. So that made quite an impression. And when I said that, you know what, I'm going for it right now, that same position, and I'm contesting for elections right now as we speak, and I'm also the president, and all of that basically showed that I'm genuine and I put in the efforts, and I'm not, just all bark and no bite. So they saw that in me, and they gave me that position. So I became the operations student assistant at one of our academic success centers on campus. And let's see, it's been around 2.5 to 3 months roughly since I've started. And yeah, I've also applied to a promotion over there. Let's see how that goes. We'll see.
We wish you all the best for
Thank you so much.
Interesting. So Karthik, what I've understood, or one takeaway from this is, irrespective of whichever club or say association or leadership position you join, there is always a hidden benefit of networking.
Right.
And that's a huge advantage. You ended up getting the recommendation letter from the top position.
Yeah.
That helped you get an on-campus job.
Yeah.
So there are so many added benefits to it. While all that assuming that you are making sure that your academics are in place.
Perfect.
Can you please elaborate? How well did you maintain? How many credits did you take in the first year, and what was your CGPA?
My CGPA right now is 3.7 out of 4, and my first semester's GPA was around 3.9 out of 4. Now during both my semesters, I've taken 15 credits. And yeah, I am going to be increasing my credits in the next semester by a bit. I'm going to be going into 17. Let's see how that works out. But yeah, the thing is, why I stayed with a little bit of lower numbers, not too much towards 20 or 21 like some of my colleagues are doing, is that I wanted to do all of these career building opportunities that I had. You see, like I said, because those are the real things that we do not get over here. And that's the major difference, that is, we get those over there and we do not get them over here. So that's why I do not want to rush my process over there. I know it's a lot of money that my parents are putting in, but you see, once you get to live there, once you get to see the benefits, you start realizing that it's not an expense, it's an investment.
Absolutely.
Right? So no matter what, like it might seem like a big amount at this point, if you look at it, but soon enough it's gonna give you returns that are well beyond stuff that you can get over here by paying cheaper rates.
Totally. So you got free residency.
Right.
You have an on-campus job.
Right.
And best of all, you are on the dean's list as well.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Because your CGPA is maintained. That's excellent. Kartik, okay, now that we are on the other side of the table, what would you advise? So, say we'll take a step back. Apart from the academic difference, what you've seen on campus at Buffalo, how was the cultural difference? How much time you took to make friends, to connect with people, to network? Obviously, because of all these extracurricular career building opportunities, you ended up having decent interactions with a lot of people, right?
Right.
Can you please throw light on how you went ahead to introduce yourself? You must have taken some initiatives all by yourself.
Right.
Let our audience know that it's absolutely okay to fail at taking these initiatives.
Right.
Instead of just absolutely not taking it.
That's right. It's like that very cliche saying, that you miss all of the shots that you do not take. So if you take it, you have a 50-50 chance of making it. If not, then 100% you're not going to make it. Right? I have made a lot of new friends over there, and yeah, like you said, networking comes in benefit. And the way I see it, right, when you look at it that way, sometimes kids tend to get, a bit pressurized by that. Oh, I do not know them. How will I, network? And they look at it. They look at the final product of what people have achieved, and they compare it to their starting points. But what you should be doing is not focusing on what other people have achieved. Just be yourself and just be confident enough to take the leap. Because it doesn't matter if you stutter in front of them. It doesn't matter if you, choke on your own saliva. Happens sometimes, So it's all fair, because you see, those people are also going through or have went through the same thing that you're going through right now. So that's one benefit over there, is that unlike over here, culturally speaking, people often tend to judge you from the point that they are at right now in their life, and they sort of like compare them right now with you at some other part in their life. Now see, that's something that you cannot do, because you do not know what anyone's story is like, and you do not know what their storyline is going to be like, when they're going to achieve those things.
Your path is unique.
Yeah. And see, that's the thing. That is the big difference that I've seen over there, which helps you get out of your comfort zone. Because once you do it, right, you start seeing the possibilities that start coming with it. No matter what kind of an interaction you have, once you have that, you automatically start like craving for more. It's like, okay, I do not want to say this, but it's like a drug, okay? So I'm an extrovert, so it's like a drug for me. And once that happens...
We'll probably use a better word for that, but yes.
Right. But
it hits your adrenaline.
Yeah. So it sort of gets you upon that point where, you start getting out of your comfort zone and you start living it. Why do people do adventure sports? Because they want to experience that thrill.
Yeah.
And that same thing can be said even in this aspect, which is you do not know what that interaction is going to go like. You do not know what they're going to say. You do not know what you're going to say. So hopefully you do know what you're going to say, but still,
I get your point. We are so enjoying the fact that the Karthik which I met probably 2 years ago, I saw an introverted, shy Karthik specifically, and for the audience I'll rather like to point it out. Karthik took a break after his 12th. He wanted to take time for himself to figure things out, and look where he has got. The way he has pushed his limits. the way he prepared for his entire profile. And we are so proud of you, Kartik.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. It means a lot coming from you and all the other teachers that I've had throughout. It's amazing.
It's so great to actually see you evolve, because we could see that transition, right? And there's no better pleasure to actually see that transition.
Right.
Right? Fair.
I met my high school teachers on the same weekend that I came over here right now, and they were all like shocked. Like to see that transition happen, just like you said, because you see, they knew that I had the potential, but they did not see me utilizing that. And I think that has largely contributed to the fact that during the gap year that you mentioned, I figured out what my true passion was. I did not have a direction, and I didn't know where to go. It just was like I get up and I don't know what the purpose of the day is. It's fine. Whatever I achieve, what do I do after achieving that?
Now, Kartik, now that you are on the other side of the table, how would you like to advise our audience, primarily students who are in high school, say they are in grade 9, grade 10, to work on their profile? How should they look at the entire concept of studying abroad, right? What should they work on their work other than their academics, so that they'll have a holistic profile?
Right. So coming to the profile building approach of it, so how do you do that, right? All you have to do, the primary thing that I will suggest, sir, is that they have to just look back on their journey till now. Journey primarily after 9th onwards or after 10th onwards. They have to look back at that journey, and they have to figure out the key points where they can capitalize on the things that they have done, and they can use those pointers as something to show that, let's say that I have worked as a cricket team coach or a captain or whatever, of my high school team. Let's say I've worked as a cricket team's captain, and the way I capitalize on that is that I can say that I have good team building approach, I have good team management approach, I have leadership skills, and I have demonstrated. And you use, for all of these words that you use, right, you back those with the small experiences that you can find, which you have gone through because you did that. So you just have to use that to back those words, how I showed that and how I demonstrated those things on pitch, on ground, be it anyway. That's just an example of how you do that.
Fundamentally, what you're trying to say, rather than starting something absolutely new,
right,
capitalize on things which you genuinely find interesting.
Right.
So the takeaway I'm having here is genuinity.
Right.
At the end of the day, don't push yourself for going out there which you have not done at all.
Right.
Rather, to do things which you have enjoyed doing previously. Let's say you've been doing Bharatanatyam for last 2 odd years, capitalize on that. That's one of those major takeaways from it. Very interesting point. Now that Kartik, we are here, you have crossed that bridge. You have more or less settled in States at University of Buffalo. What exactly are your plans? What are your future plans?
So as of now, my future plans are following up on projects which will give me experience about my future fields, be it as a analyst, be it as an operations specialist, anything to do with management or IT departments. So when I do that, right, what happens is that I start making a sort of like a brand image of myself, wherein when the company looks at my resumes or looks at my profile, they see all the important key terms that I've done which relate to the job that I want, right? So the job, currently the job that I'm looking for will be something to do with operations and global investment research, right? So I'm sure that you must have heard of Goldman Sachs,
right.
And now I know that it might be a bit difficult getting there, but that's what my end goal is, that I need to start off at Goldman Sachs. So right now I'm doing a virtual insight series with them. I have also applied to the emerging leadership program for Goldman Sachs. And then besides that, I'm also going to be applying to their internships that will be rolling out soon enough, be it as an operations associate or as a summer intern of analyst. And when that happens, hopefully, let's say, even if I do not get in now, that's where my entry point I want that to be. In Goldman Sachs or any other big firm like that, my entry point should be that. And then from there on, I know that those positions will be working with teams that are in any global investment research teams, be it of Goldman Sachs or any other company. So I need to get into that. Once I start working with those, that's where my true passion aligns of management, economics, and geopolitics, wherein I can use all of those together to figure out the best approach that companies should have to invest their money, which will give them guaranteed profits based on the changing geopolitical scenarios and international affairs. That's what I'm looking for right now. And then hopefully, once I get into that, let's say after like 8 or 9 years, hopefully I will be, global head of strategy making or whatever.
Amazing, amazing. So happy to see that you have the actual goals. We at Anand wish you all the best, as
Thank you so
it
much.
has always been.
Thank you so much.
We'll always stay connected, man. And looking forward, we wish you all the best for all your
Thank you
future
so
endeavors.
much.
All the best wishes, buddy.
It's
Please
my
take care,
pleasure.
sir.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you.
Thank you.